on-chip program, democracy, and the rule of law. Okay, so we would essentially look at the last topic today on Wednesday. Of course, the sound of victory, the trumpet, the victory of the Republican nominee, that's former President Donald Trump, hit the airwaves, the news airwave, where he defeated, the incumbent vice president, the Democratic Party's nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, in a very, very tight, and hotly contested, election. Of course, it was, as has been described by the US, it was a total obliteration. It was really unexpected. All the media prediction, all the poll projection, were shattered. Most of them fell like a pack of domino, because we saw for the first time, a Republican nominee, getting the wide range of support across various sections of the country. Of course, he got about 312 electoral college votes, a historic one for that. Of course, he required 270 to win, but he exceeded, far exceeded, turning all the blue walls that they describe it in the US, turning them and flipping them to red. And that was the first time since so many years that a Republican, president would be winning the popular vote. He won it by over 5 million, votes. So it was a total obliteration, as has been described, by various media houses. But then our focus would be what the victory means for Africa, and especially Nigeria, because Donald Trump, he ran on a very, very strict immigration policy where he has vowed to deport all illegal immigrants. In fact, he said that from day one, he's going to sign an executive order to ensure that all of those residing in the US illegally, will be shown, the exit door. And of course, he has also promised economic boom and so many other promises. So we are looking at what his victory, means for what it means for Africa and Nigeria, in particular.
Well, we thank God that there are lessons we need to learn from a U.S. election. First, we have seen that in U.S., once they've done the election, it's always free and fair, transparent, at least to a reasonable extent. And whoever loses in the
they're not going to start hiring sons for can do election petition matters.
Yes, whoever loses accepts defeat and life goes on. But in Nigeria, we have electoral process that appears always marked by irregularities that at the end of the day we find matters ending up in court and so on and so forth. Nigeria must try to get it right. Concerning Donald Trump and the expectations of Africa and Nigeria in particular for his victory, we know from his campaign promises and strategies, he promised that when he gets re-elected into the White House, he will increase the trade between the United States and African countries in the area of commerce and so on. And then he will also ensure that the U.S. government, partner with Africans in the area of energy, agriculture, and women empowerment. And he also assured the world that if he is given the opportunity to come back, that he will assist in, his administration will assist in countering terrorism and violent conflicts in Africa. And then he has also made the promise that African countries, including Nigeria, will get U.S. aid, that aid from the United States government, which will go a long way in enhancing our development and economy and so on. Then, if we look at it from these areas, he has promised what we can term prosperity for African countries, and also stability and security. But then we look at the other side of the coin, because every coin has two sides. You discover that before now, African countries have been having, you know, commercial and trade dealings with China. And critics have come to say that yes, it's a good thing that he has won this election, and that advancing our trade relations with US will go a long way in a improving economy, and that even China has a lot of trade relations with Nigeria, but that practices have predatory practices and tendencies and debt entrapment. The Chinese company, the Chinese government, their companies and their agencies will woe you into a business transaction, will give you fantastic offers, but behind those fantastic offers there are hidden areas that eventually you may enter into a debt. And once there's any such thing, they'll come with ferocity to, you know, stifle whoever is involved. And that having US as an alternative is a good one, although we know that China, by reason of their population, produces so much. You know, if you look at what Nigerians import, I consume, you know, 70% of them are from China. So US is coming to say yes, we want to advance and increase our commercial activities with you. Is a good one, so that Nigeria will have viable options. Again, we also look at Russia. Russia does not have much trade relations with African nations. The trade and commercial activity between Russia and African countries is very minimal, although Russia is still making inroads politically into African countries. You also look at European Union and their own activities, and you discover that by and large the victory of Donald Trump may favor African countries, although it is good that when they are coming to assist Nigeria and other countries in the area of economic relations, trade, commerce and so on, that we look at whatever agreement presented critically before appending the signature of the nation to it. Again, in the area of security, that he has promised that they will come and assist African countries and Nigeria in particular in countering terrorism and avoid conflict. I recall that in the past, American government sent delegation of security agencies, army to come and help us confront and overcome the Boko Haram. When they came here, they were here for some time, and what they discovered was that they left after they saw that there was a kind of a compromise by our own officers, that there were some saboteurs that give information to the the enemies and so on. So I believe that it's a good development for Africa. Then in the immigration policies, what it signals is that Nigerians and African citizens who are in the US, we need to take urgent steps to revise their papers if they are staying illegally.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Yemi, concerning the election, of course, we saw that, and some people have described Nigerian electoral process as a three-tier system. You have courts at the first instance, because during the primaries, nation court decides after the parties would have done, because obviously so many parties will not do it rightly, which we didn't see in the US election. In fact, that doesn't even come in as much in their election, the judicial system. They have the election proper, in Nigeria, which is the second tier of our electoral process. After the election, they'll go back to court to decide who will be removed because of irregularities and who will stay. So that's why some people have described it as a three-level system. You have to pass one to know if your nomination was done properly. Then you have to go another one after the election. When INEC will have finished doing their own, they will now prepare, for the last one, which is the battle in court. That is the final battle. That's a three-tier. But we don't see this in the U.S. election.
What I will say is that Africa is Africa, Nigeria is Nigeria. Now, America did not start a electoral system in 1960.
Yeah, but we see Botswana and
America did not start in 1960. Neither did Nigeria start when America started. Now, the game is this. We are in Nigeria, we are developing gradually.
Yeah, I'm saying Botswana.
No, just hold on. Botswana is a baby to Nigeria. But let me tell you, the fact remains that in Nigeria as we are now, we have three major ethnic groups.
Yes.
The north, we have the south, and we have the east. Then we call Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. That is it. Now, looking at that game, every region wants to get hold of the power. So you design your style, I design my style. You implement your style, I implement my style. That games go on that way. Such does not apply in US. With due respect, sir. It doesn't.
Yeah, but they also have their own. They have their Black America. They have.
You cannot expect Nigeria to be at the same level America is when it comes to our electoral process. They are the owner of the electoral process. They brought it and come and imposed it on us here, and we took it. How do you want us to know more than the? How do you want us to know more than the person who brought it to us?
So you believe
that is the.
You believe that our electoral process is where it's supposed to be?
No, our electoral.
Do you believe that our process it is where it's supposed to be?
No, I disagree with you. What I'm saying is that our electoral process is developing.
It is where it is supposed to be.
A time will come that our electoral process will be full.
Yeah, so Dr. Yemi, so it is where it's supposed to be since it's still the
our electoral process
is where it's supposed to be. It's where the development have reached.
We are now look at it. When Absalam Abubakar willingly handed over the power, we knew what. After that one, to shift to Alhaji Yadwa, we knew what happened. From there to Jonathan, we saw what happened. To Buhari, we were in Nigeria.
So our electoral system, in other words,
our electoral process is
developing, and it is where it has the bus stop at for now.
I didn't support.
It is where it's supposed to be.
I am saying our electoral process is developing. So